Okay, so I'm doing a student teacher side by side. Thank you for joining us. And this is the teacher on this side, and this is the student on this side. This is a brand new teacher. It's actually been an unverified educator account. So I have limited access, but I've still been able to assign my first activities. And so let's say the student is just getting started. Now, if I had sent out a shareable link to some sort of LMS, that would have been great, and the student would have been able to easily get logged on. But let's assume that I had to give the students the URL, and the student comes here. The student's going to actually enter this code. They're going to enter this code in here, but I'm going to say, wait, I already have an account, and I'm going to assume that this student has and I'm going to get this kiddo in here, sign in, and then from here, the student can go ahead and enter this code, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. And the kiddo can get started. Notice that this student had another teacher. All they have to do is enter that new code, and then this student is in that, has that activity from that new teacher. And then I'm going to say go. You're seeing things a little bit compressed because notice one screen, I have two things side by side, but I want you to see what this looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is the welcome screen. A lot of teachers put this up on a whiteboard or something and walk the students through all of the phases that we're going to go through, the inquiry process. And so students are ready to do this lab. Yep, I read my directions. And I go through that more in a video on the inquiry process, but we're going to go through the intro again. Some teachers choose to put this on the board, walk through this with students so that students, make sure that the students are reading and understand what their independent variables are going to be in this lab. And then we're going to actually get started on the lab itself. So we're going to start off at the hypothesis or question formation stage. And so if I increase, I'm looking up here to my goal, the height of the tower. Now I'm going to make a mistake on purpose because I want you to see something, what happens over here on the students, on the teacher's side. So say I'm ready to run an experiment. Now we're going to go here. Let me refresh on the teacher over here. Look, I have a student who's gotten started. Now I have reports. My student obviously did a good job with the independent variables, so that impacts the score, but didn't do so great on the dependent variables. So, and I'm only partially aligned to my goal. So that's the reason for that score. And this is going to change as I move forward through this activity. Also, let's go ahead and pull up the alerts so that I'm going to be able to see the alerts as I move forward. So, okay. I'm going to run a trial. I'm checking height of the tower. That's what I should do, but I'm a kiddo, so I'm just going to go through and just randomly start doing things. Now, I'm going to tell you that in this activity, I do not have Rex the Tutor turned on. In the first tutorial, we just want to get a pure assessment of where our kiddos are at. So there's no tutor popping up to stop me. Some teachers really like having that tutor turned on. He really does stop the kids and help them to do better inquiry. But some teachers say, you know what? I want to just see where my kiddos are at, and I want them to just play around, and what they're going to do is what they're going to do. And so what we found is that most students do eventually get back to business, and they come back and they say, okay, I was checking the height of the tower, so let's do that. And let's go back to our reports and see what's going to happen here. We could see the alerts if they were popping up. And then I'm going to go to, what was I doing? Oh, that's right. I was doing the tower. Okay. This is why we shouldn't multitask. We should focus on what we're doing. But for these purposes, I need to multitask. So, okay. When I go ahead and increase the height of my tower, I'm going to increase the height of my tower, the height, no, I'm going to actually say, what was it? The total distance traveled. Okay, total distance traveled. Then what happened? Total distance traveled increased. So this is unrelated to my hypothesis, and I'm going to just grab these last 3 trials. I'm going to say I'm done with my hypothesis. I'm going to refresh over here just so you can see what happens. And then this just takes a second to catch up. I'm going to say, let me see, do my best to write a good student claim. So when I increased the height of the tower, my total distance from the end of the ramp increased. And then let me see my evidence. I'm just going to do my best to be sort of a kiddo. So in the first trial, my tower height was short and my distance traveled was 504 meters. In my third trial, my tower height was, what's it say up there? Very tall. Notice that we're using words, and so we're not trying not to make this too confusing for students. It's just a tutorial to get them started. Was very tall, and my distance traveled was 507 meters. You can see that it increased. There we go. That's a good. It makes sense that as the tower height increases, the total distance traveled also increased. It increased by 3 meters as the tower height increased. Hopefully they use some science in there, but that's pretty typical of a student response. So let's go ahead and finish and submit, and then see how Julian did over here. So see, he's done. He can actually see his progress. He can see how he did. He can see his work. So this all pops up there. He could print that out in a PDF format if he wanted to. He could enter a new code and get started on the next thing if we wanted him to. For these purposes, I'm going to close him out for a second just because I want you to see from a teacher standpoint what happened. From a teacher standpoint, I can see where he was doing well. He knows what an independent variable is. He knows how to control his investigation. Did a really excellent job. This is a very difficult skill for students to learn, how to construct a claim and warrant, how to use appropriate evidence to support your claim. And then very typical of a smarter student, really good on claim, really good on evidence, not so great on reasoning. And that's very, very typical of a smarter student. Reasoning is a difficult skill to learn, and we actually have a rubric on our website to help you with that. But I hope that this side-by-side was very helpful in understanding how the Inq-ITS system works. You can see how the student side works and how the teacher side works, and I hope this was helpful. Please check out our other videos and email us at info@inqits.com. Have a great day.